Hello there, Elite Dangerous players. This is Sleepless Night. Welcome back. How have you been? Everybody had a good New Year, I hope. Jolly good. Right, first of all, this is going to seem a little bit backwards. This is a very, very short video. It's going to seem a little bit backwards because I was in the process, actually, of just making you a trading video, which I'll release in a couple of days' time. Just showing you the basics of trade and showing me trading up from a Lakon Type 6 to an Asp. Now, I was in the process of making this, but I've had a few questions from one of my regular viewers about fire groups and how to assign them. There seems to be a little bit of confusion over him, and I can understand that because when I first started playing there was a little bit of confusion for me as well. So what I'm going to do is just combine the two. It'll seem a bit weird because when you see the trading video, you'll see me trading up at the end to an Asp. Or trying to trade up to an Asp at least, and of course, so you'll see these in the wrong order, but you know, I'm sure you'll get over it. Don't lose any sleep or anything. Maybe something you can tell your grandchildren about someday. I remember that. It's, you know what, I haven't been awake very long. I didn't sleep well last night. It's not a good time for me, man. So here I am. I'm at Jane's Horizons. And I've just come outside the no fire area, if you like. See, told you my brain's not really working. I've forgotten all the terminology already. And the reason I've come out here to show you this is because inside, when I looked at it over in the inside of the starport, I found that it was a little bit too bright and you couldn't really see what I was doing. So I had to come out here into the blackness of space. So let's do two things, actually, while we're here. We'll cover... you know, it'll still be a very, very short video, but we'll cover what the Asp looks like. So this is my first time leaving the station in my new craft. So, very, 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 very open cockpit. I was saying to someone yesterday, actually the same one of my regular viewers that requested information about the fire groups, that I feel very exposed in this cockpit because you're sort of standing, if you like, or sitting right out in the very, very front of this ship. And if you've ever seen an Asp, I'm sure you've seen them flying around in combat. If you don't know what it's like inside, I'm sure you've seen them from the outside. You've maybe gotten into combat with a couple of them, been doing bounty hunting trips. The cockpit is stuck right sort of way. It's very, very. It protrudes from the front of the ship in a quite pronounced manner. And so you feel very exposed. Now this is a two-level cockpit, so you know there's another pilot seat or co-pilot seat presumably underneath this floor that I'm sitting on now. But as you can see, we look around the cockpit in here compared with some of the other cockpits you looked at, it is bare bones. I mean, this is no frills. This is well and truly no frills. Look at that. You've got your heads-up display on what really amounts to nothing more than a metal plate. That's it. That's it. You know, look, no extra screens or anything like you have in the LT6, or you know, little lights, buttons up there like you have in the Eagle and in the Cobra. You know, no little Falcon de Lacy symbol or Lakon symbol as it should be. Oh, there is a Lakon symbol. Sorry, I tell a lie. Yes, there you go. It says Lakon Asp. That's it. That's and some handles there. But that's it. So yeah, you might be able to hear, if you've got a really good sound system, you get your headphones on, you might be able to hear that sort of purring in the background. Can you hear that? It sounds like a helicopter approaching from the distance, to me anyway, from where I'm sitting. Sounds like a helicopter approaching from the distance, and you might think there's a ship lingering nearby. But as you can hear when I move around, that's actually just... So that helicopter type noise you can hear in the background there, I don't know how loud it will actually be when I've made this video and it's been, you know, my voice has been overlaid and it's been recoded and all these kind of things. But to me, listening to it here now, it's quite pronounced, the sound of that sort of, that helicopter in the distance sound. And what that is, it's just ambient engine noise for the Asp. So that's when I'm just sitting here in space, not doing anything. So let's get down to business. So I was asked about the fire groups. So here we go. We'll go over into our systems tab. Okay, so you start over here. You're on the status thing. Over into the systems tab now. So we tab it twice across to go to fire groups. So Before I cover this, I should really point out that what you'll have, you have to go into your, you have to go into your options sort of menu. So here, we've got primary and secondary fire, which for me are joystick 1 and 2. And bear in mind that primary fire usually functions as your select key as well. So we'll scroll down a little bit further to where we've got, well, it should be under miscellaneous, I guess. But apparently it is not. Oh, good. Here we go. So, mode switches. Here we are. So, the UI focus mode, which I've got set to toggle, which is how I look around the cockpit when I'm showing you stuff. And UI focus mode. These are on my joystick, but we don't pay any attention to those. So then we've got target panel, systems panel, sensors panel. Okay. But if we go down to the interface mode, so this is user interface mode, wherever it says UI, panel up. Now W, S, A, and D, here we got for panel up, panel down, panel left, panel right, and panel select. Now I have these set to my little hat on my joystick. The little directional hat that I've shown you before in other videos. And then you've got next panel tab and previous panel tab. So let's bear in mind that these are different. So we'll talk about UI up and down and select. Okay? And then next panel and previous panel tab. Okay? So let's we'll just cancel that. Let me go back to the menu here. So we go across. So we'll go to the UI select. I'm just going to straight select the systems panel like that. Okay. And so here you've got next panel or next tab, right? So that's what I'm doing now. I'm selecting with the tab keys. Okay. Tabbing from one to another. Next tab, next panel, right? And then I've got my hat on my joystick, which is the up and down, okay, and select. Now I was asked about fire groups, okay? So let's go through this. So the one there, right? Let's just. I'm sorry if I'm treating some of you. It seems like I'm treating some of you like idiots, but there are certain things that seem perfectly obvious to other people that aren't always to me, and vice versa. See things maybe that seem obvious to me that don't to other people. So you never know what's going to be obvious to one person and not to another. I've made a fool of myself on plenty of occasions, I can tell you that. So here you've got the number 1, right? So I've only got 2 fixed pulse lasers because I bought this Asp last night, last thing before I turned off the computer. Very last thing. I didn't take it out and fly it, and the only reason I brought it out to fly it now into space is to show you this, to make this quick video. So here we go, number 1, right? And if I press here where it says basic discovery scanner, you'll see that that little circle there is empty. That means it's not assigned to anything, right? Which might seem like something and nothing, but it means I can't do anything with it, right? So what I'm going to do is press my primary fire button, because that's my select key, right? And it goes 1, and if I press it again, you get 2. Now all that means is that it's assigned my pulse lasers to my primary fire, which is the trigger at the front of my joystick, in my case anyway. And it's assigned my basic discovery scanner to my secondary fire button. So if we now go back to the front and I deploy the hard points, okay, if I press the primary fire button, okay, you get the pulse lasers blasting away there. And if I press the secondary fire button, which is on the top of my joystick, and hold it down, because you have to hold it down when you're using your scanner. There you go, you get the little scanner noise. Of course, it's not going to register anything because the system's information is already up in my scanner. It's a popular system, this. In fact, I'm actually in one of the ones now that goes back to 1984, so yes. So, if we go back into, just to sort of give you another example. So let's say that is fire group 1, okay? So you can see that there. So then we move. See, I'm moving up and down with the little hat on the top of my joystick there. But if I move right, I get a second fire group, right, which is here. So I go, let's say in this fire group, I want to select that pulse laser on 1 and that one on number 2. Okay, so pulse laser 1 on primary fire, pulse laser 2 on secondary fire. So let's go back to the front. Now, if I press the trigger, oops, sorry, I've got to switch the it would help if I switched the fire group, wouldn't it? Oop. So I've reassigned all my keys because I've got a spare keyboard. So now I have to switch the light on to actually see the writing that I've made. To see which is the fire group select, because I just recently changed it. So I've selected to fire group 2 now. So I've now got fire group 2 selected. So now if I press the trigger, I get that laser on one side, and if I press the hat at the top, the little button on the top of the joystick, I get that one on the left. So that's my left hand pulse laser, and that's my right hand. And that is just purely and simply because in fire group 2, there you go, you see, I have it selected on 1 and 2. Right? So now, let's see what else, what other combinations. If you want to make a third fire group, you just move across again. Okay? And a fourth, you can just move across again. And a fifth, oops, which you can't do, by the way, by pressing your secondary fire. You have to press select just a couple of times, which I forgot there for a moment. Okay? So you can have as many fire groups as you like, or as many as will fit. I don't know what the limit is, let's see. 8. Apparently 8 is the limit for fire groups. Can't have any more than 8. Anyway, the problem is I've now got to go and undo all of those. So, that is how you select fire groups. Okay, so it's very straightforward and simple, and that's how you create them. And then you have somewhere on your keypad or joystick, you have the option to, as I said before there, to select your fire groups, so to change between one and the other. So, you know, I only have one now, but now I've got to go and do that again, haven't I? So if I go there, so here you can see I've got the basic discovery scanner on the top there, and my pulse lasers, both of them on the trigger at the front. But if I switch my fire groups, now you'll see I've got one pulse laser on either side. So one on that trigger and one on that trigger. One on there, one. Okay, very straightforward and simple. Switch back to the other fire group with my hotkeys there, and now of course I've got the discovery scanner again and both pulse lasers on the other tab. Okay, so I hope that's been helpful. Anyway, I'm going to head back inside now and dock up and put this video out for you. So I hope it's been helpful to you anyway. If anybody else has anything else they want help with that I could make fairly quickly, please don't hesitate to shout out, give a comment, give a like, whatever, you know, leave a comment and say, would you make a video on this? And if it's possible for me to do so, I will. As I've said many times recently, I've got a very big move coming up in a couple of weeks, so there won't be any videos for a few weeks from me, but certainly, you know, feel free to shout out if you can't find a video on that or tutorial on that elsewhere. Okay, folks, so I'm gonna turn around. Ooh, it's very, very loud engine noise in this thing. So I'm gonna turn around and head back into port now, but that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going now.